Okay, and so once again, welcome to all of you on behalf of the Cumulus Working Group Leadership and Strategy. Teresa and I, yes, we're very happy to have you here with us, and I'm very happy that we also have Albert with us, that we have Nur with us, and Lolita. We are something like a core group, designing and defining what we can do in this strange format of the working groups. On the one hand, we try to create something very sustainable so that we build step by step on what we're doing. But on the other hand, we try to be very lightweight. And for us, it's lunchtime here right now in Germany. Sorry, I don't have lunch. I just have some water to drink. So to squeeze it a bit to 1 hour, so that makes it convenient for you to join. And if you want to engage deeper, so please feel free to do so. Maybe just Teresa, should we frame a bit what the Atlas is before the people are starting? Yes, maybe that makes sense. And of course, I also want to welcome Eya Salmi here, our Secretary General, who, to be honest, brought me to this working group, telling me, Philip, you have to do this. So thank you for joining today as well, Eya. Happy to have you here. So this Atlas of Opportunities is the initiative of Cumulus to work on this new European Bauhaus project and contribution. And what we're going to do, and basically kicking off today, is to talk about emerging formats that we're seeing, maybe influenced by the experiences that we made from remote collaboration, but not only sort of technical or didactical. Maybe it's also the idea of the strong will to spend more time together in situ, on place. That place has a different meaning, actually. So what we are trying to do here is to create a discursive space to reflect and to discuss those new opportunities. And in the end, we're gonna show you how we think this atlas can be like. And today we will have 3 cases, 3 contributions, and the idea is to listen to those cases and contribution and watch and talk with the colleagues that are presenting it, because we can learn from that, not only in a pedagogical and didactic way also, and this is why we put it in this group, in a strategic way, because we believe that many new formats that were emerging can inform curricular development and even internationalization strategies of institutions, very much because new ways of collaborations could emerge. So that's a bit the framing, and we created a wonderful map where we want to locate the activities that we're having. And as you might have seen today, we have 3 cases. So first it will be Lolita Dutta and Yatra Khan from UID in India to talk about design craft and collaboration. You want to introduce the other ones, Teresa? Because my Catalan is Spanish, is not too good.
Yeah, we have Ramon Lonch and Saul Baeza from Elizabeth, Spain. They will present the project route Senegal. And then we will have Milenko Vraki from La Salle College of Art in Singapore with that will show us the tropical lab. So these will be our 3 presenters today. I think we have a lot of inspiring presentations to see. And I think we can give the stage to our guests. Yes, Philip.
And the massive challenge is, we said, please try to make it something like 12 minutes, allowing 5 minutes of conversation. I know this is super short, but this is why we are sharing some material afterwards. So as a matter of gratitude and honesty to Milenko being the 3rd presenter, please try to stay in time, actually, to allow time for conversations. And and
also to the audience that if you want to raise a question or something, please just present yourself in the chat and just ask a question, and then afterwards we can have a debate between all of us. Okay. Yes, so thank you. So I guess it's Yatra who is going to
present the case about design
Yes,
collaboration?
yeah. I'm going to just introduce Yatra
Excellent.
and a little bit about the concept, and she'll talk about it because she's actually done the presentation. So for everybody listening, it's we are Lolita and Yatra. We are from India, from the Karnavati University, from the United World Institute of Design. As a part of our design learning, we very much have craft as a part of pedagogy. And India has a lot of craft communities. So we try and capture the concept of community learning and craft within what we do on campus as well as off campus. However, as I think Yatra will explain, when we shot this film, it was the peak of COVID, so we were not able to shoot outside. I'm going to ask Yatra to explain a little more about how we went about this and the concept of this short film, and then we can answer any questions later if we have time. Although I think our film is only 5 minutes or 4 minutes. So yeah, it's about 4 minutes. It's a very short, just a short thing. So I'm going to hand it over to Yatra. And Yatra is my young colleague who works with me in the Department of Visual Communication.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. It's evening here for us. We have this, we've tried to create a short film because of COVID restrictions. We weren't really able to go out of the campus during the making of the film, but we have tried to basically capture point of views from some students, from some colleagues, faculty members, on basically the concept of how design teaching and learning in India involves the combination of inputs from the community surrounding the college, as well as the experience and the knowledge that the faculty members bring in and share with the students. So that is the basic concept that we have tried to capture through talking to people and getting their different perspectives. So as you will see in the film, we have tried to speak to colleagues who are from different diverse departments of design. So there is one person who's from lifestyle and accessory design, somebody who's from the field of fashion. So design as a whole, we believe, and this is something we have seen in a lot of colleges, design colleges in India, this way of teaching, of combining community and then the experience that the faculties bring in from the industries is core to design teaching in India, and that's what we've tried to portray. So with your permission, should I play the film?
Yes. We have no sound.
Yeah.
I think before you share, you have to go back again. Before you share, you have to click the button when you share video that you share the sound.
But you are mute, Yatra.
India is a land of great diversity, different in region, different geographically, different landscapes, different people, different cultures, different rituals, and obviously different communities.
India is a large, craft community. There are a lot of things. Each pocket has their own different. If you see the forecast or the trend, it doesn't work actually in India. Let me tell you one more thing. Like, when we are talking about the forecast and the entire world uses this forecast, it doesn't work in India because the India has a different kind of a community, different kind of a people, the different kind of a season. So each time is different. But when it comes to the craft, particular region, particular area, particular village, particular location has their own craft because of that local material availability. So when the student goes to that local area or that particular area, definitely they can combine what they're doing in urban area and with the local area. It's always fusion of that, and you are always come up with some good stuff.
We learn things in terms of the industry as to what we're going to do forward ahead. But with these artisans, it's more as to a daily thing for them. So we pick up the easier things, the smallest intricacies. It can be real small things which might be useful in what we do, which including our faculty's knowledge and both put together, it sums up the whole thing.
If we look at design as a process which should consume a designer, then I think it's important to understand the ecosystem and all the layers that surround it. And therefore, craft, as I said, does play a very important role in understanding beyond the product and the process. It also talks about the social implications. It talks about consequences. There are many layers that the student only realizes through these interventions. It's very difficult for us to talk about all of these things in the classroom. But when they go out there, they see, they look at the existence of craft and the way it has built itself over the years in terms of the excellence that it has. While also being a part of a society, contributing, being sustainable. These lessons can't be taught in the classroom. So it's really important for the students to work with the artisans for a better development of product, for a better understanding of the skill and the expertise that they have developed over patience through years, and also to understand more about life, because craft is beyond the product. At least in India, it has far more stronger cultural and philosophical implications. I personally feel craft has always transitioned slightly slower and slightly more meaningfully, but it has always been able to keep its root and also adapt. So I'm sure that is what is going to happen. They will adapt to technology, which will help them take the traditions further. And again, it is our role and responsibility as designers and as educators to also ensure that happens and support them.
Yeah, so there was a small attempt at trying to give you all a glimpse of how we try to take design teaching forward here at UID.
So, so I think what we were hoping to do, we couldn't do it the way we had actually wanted to, was to see how opportunities come about through communities and how craft communities in India help us put together a thought process as far as both the student and the teacher are concerned, which then leads to the industry-driven opportunities. And this is a practice which a lot of design institutes in India follow. And we are also one of those who believe very strongly in this concept of communities. There are also communities in which women work extensively, and that was one of the things I think we were hoping to capture, and we couldn't because we couldn't go outside and actually shoot at that time. But I think, as Yatra said, this just gives us a glimpse into what we can do and what we aim to do and we enjoy doing. So it's open for discussion. There's a lot more we can do. So thank you for being with us today, and let's hope we can do better things. Thank you.
Thank you for this presentation and explanation. Are there any immediate questions from the audience? By the audience?
If you want to raise your hand, or if you didn't have the opportunity to write a question on the chat.
I would only like to know if the contact between students and craftsmen and craftwomen is structured under a certain elective
Yes.
subject or something, or it's immersion depending on some projects or some interests?
Albert, it's very much embedded into the curriculum, into the pedagogy of learning. So there are 2-3 things that happen. One is some of these craftsmen actually work in the campus with the students, and that's an ongoing process. They're here all the time. The second thing, the students go to craft cultures, they learn with the craftsmen, they stay with the craftsmen, and they also document the entire process of the craft. So it's a craft documentation. And being very diverse, I mean, we know that India is very, very diverse in terms of its craft. So they take different regions through the different semesters. And then this whole thing culminates in a documentation, which they actually have to present. It's a part of the credit system that we have. Does that answer your question somewhat? Yeah, okay.
Did I understand it right that the communities are also located very close to your campus to allow easy interaction?
Some of the communities are very close. We are in Gujarat, which is sort of in the western part of India, which is also a great hub of craft. So embroidery, what you saw, that's one of the major, that's one of the leading crafts in India, in Gujarat. There's also the block print making, where you carve patterns and you print on fabric. You can even print on paper. I think one of the girls was doing that. So we have an artisan who's actually based over here, helping the students learn that particular craft. Other than that, the students travel. I mean, past 2 years, this has not been possible, but I think literally actually next week we are traveling out. I'm taking a group of students. Some other departments are taking groups of students to actually see how different communities work and what we can imbibe from what is the local flavor or what is traditional, and apply it into more contemporary, usable, product oriented and service oriented for the opportunities for the future.
I was going to ask, of course, there is it's obvious that the students learn a lot within this kind of system. Do you have any data or any information on the impact of this into the communities and the craftsmen and craftswomen? So the other way around. So their experience with the students and the university had some impact in their daily lives and economically even.
Yes, a lot, because we also have a program which is called Design for Social Responsibility. And in that, again, students can work on any kind of socially relevant or social responsible projects. So like very recently, we had a group of students that went into a village close by and taught the young girls about menstrual health and how important it is to observe a certain kind of hygiene, because they don't have accessibility to a lot of things. So even a simple thing like buying a sanitary pad becomes an issue. So how do you actually tell them how important this is? So this again becomes community-based learning. It also becomes learning for social cause, social relevance. And we do that through across the board. Like there's a community of brick workers, for example, and their children don't go to school. They can't afford to go to school. So the students, in fact, devised a very interesting method, a play method, through play and through a card game, of how to teach them simple mathematics. So we do a lot of these kind of modules, these kind of projects, and in the larger scheme of things, some of them are commercially viable, and it goes into another, that's the opportunity quotient. But in some of them, it goes into more social development or socially responsible based projects. Yatra, would you like to add to that?
Yeah. There have also been a few instances where our students, after graduating, have also started their own design setups, and there is a clip of that in the video that we saw. So these students then sort of collaborate with the craftsmen they've already worked with during their 4 years at the college, who they have come to know, formed a relationship with them. So there are quite a few cases like that, where now the craftsmen are working with the students in their new startups and businesses and creating, sort of new products using the craft skills that they already have.
I think it's very interesting, as you said, it's with, for, and by the communities to really investigate a bit. I think it looks really like that you're doing very interesting research that, of course, is also changing the notion and understanding of design, the way you are implementing it in your curricula, if you're accrediting those things, but also to understand maybe how those workshops of the local communities, how they are changing. I mean, maybe this can become an off-site campus workshop or whatever, and how happy they are with that. And I think that would be very interesting to look at it from the other perspective as well, because I think it's very clear that we can learn from them. And I think you have shown that you are going to teach them as well on another level, and to better understand this symbiotic relationship. I think that's very inspiring. So thank you very much for this example, and I think it can be something that for sure is implemented already in different places all over the world. And I think that's a wonderful example how we think this atlas to be, to collect those and similar examples as well. And then that you can get in touch with them and learn from each other. Massimo, you have a question? Yes, of course, we can have one more question and then we have to proceed to the next speaker.
Thank you very much. And thanks Lolita and Yatra for having shared their experience. As it was emphasized that some students after their graduation also engage with the crafts, being themselves design entrepreneur, because they start also practicing. I was wondering if the college has put some efforts into introducing the entrepreneurship aspects of making these new business models viable, yes, and how you have made it. Thank you very much.
Yes, Massimo. We have actually again a module called entrepreneurship. And also what we've started is an incubation center where if a student has a particular idea which can be implemented as maybe a startup or something for community or something for the betterment of something, we try and give them that opportunity. We try and give the student that opportunity as well. So in fact, as Yatra mentioned, we had a short clip where some of the students from, it's again a cross-disciplinary thing, where 2 students from visual communication design and 2 from industrial product design collaborated with a group of craftspeople, and now they are creating products which they're selling online, they're selling offline, they're exhibiting. So it's actually really been a very beautiful example of how this whole, as Philippe said, a symbiotic sort of system has come into place. I hope that answers your question, Massimo.
Yes, very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much once again for sharing this with us. And I think I would be happy to pass the baton right now to 2 colleagues from Elisava.
Yeah.
Hello.
Ramon and
Saul and Ramon, and well, it will be a bit difficult to compact in 12 minutes all the things we learn in Africa during this time, but we will try anyway. But everything has a beginning. Just one meaning for my personal experience. When I first went to Africa, I didn't know at that time that everything will change my life forever. So just, I went there just at that time for adventure, but I was just contagiated by the creativity, which is not in museums or galleries, is in the street, life, the colors, the people, the music. And well, everything was so inspiring that I decided I was coming from the textile industry for a long time, and I decided to do something, to be part of a team in somewhere in Africa. So as everything was so inspiring, one day when traveling in Senegal, I found these fishing boats, abandoned fishing boats. The Senegalese and the African people like to paint with all the religious and familiar symbols. So I thought it could be that fishing boats were abandoned. I thought it could be a nice raw material to create something. I didn't know why, because I didn't know anything about wood, even less than now. So I found these artisans and asking if this wood could be possible to reincarnate, to make pieces of design. So we start without any plan, without knowing if this wood could be possible to transform in the furniture. So we make the workshop first in Dakar, and then, well, everything happens very rapidly. We make exhibitions in Paris, in Milan, in London, in many places. So that proved me that, well, working with these people was such a gratifying experience, and showed me that really, even if we don't have the tools, we have the ideas, and design could be a very good social transformation, because many of these people working in that workshop, if they don't have the job, they take these fishing boats to go to Spain. So for them, transforming these boats into furniture was, something very, very rewarding. So this experience showed me that we had to do something else in Africa and Senegal. Well, we stay in Senegal because there is a lot of one of the Africans epicenters. So we said, when we contacted them with Elisabeth a few years later, we said that we had to give this project an academic dimension. So we start thinking that bringing students and meeting with all the artisans I met during this time could be a good idea. And I think that the students of today and the professionals of tomorrow cannot ignore Africa as I did when I was a student. So I think it is like a bridge of communication between students from everywhere to share with artists and all the people who are making Africa in the way to prosperity. So this is the introduction of the story, and the rest we can show.
Yeah, basically now we're going to share a video that it was like from the last edition of that program that we have, so you can have more or less an overview of all the disciplines, spaces, artisans, designers, architects, and companies that we work with. And later on, we're going to make also like closure on it. So I'm just going to share the screen. Okay. You can see it, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Route Atlantic is an academic and creative project born in Senegal. Our mission is to build a wider than longer bridge of communication and understanding between people from Africa and the rest of the world, allowing people and ideas to cross from one side to the other. Every year, a group of students and teachers from different nationalities come to Senegal, and they have the opportunity to work, to share and exchange ideas and techniques, discovering the uniqueness and the talent of Senegalese artists. Secondly, we have a long-term cooperation with local projects and companies, like, for example, plastic waste treatment, giving support in many of the areas in which design can be a key item. And our third objective is to give more visibility to African creativity, so we organized together with Elisava University a yearly meeting in Barcelona involving actors from Africa and Europe.
As an academic context, Africa is an amazing scenario full of opportunities and challenges to be learned and shared. Everything is about materials, tools, processes, and meanings.
Comme les cycles ont des formes humaines et animales, dans ma tête, à bas âge, je les transformais en des oiseaux, des personnages, du n'importe quoi. Parce que c'est eux qui me retenaient à l'atelier de mon père pour que je ne pourrais pas aller jouer avec mes amis. Et quand je suis resté là sans rien faire, il y a un adage qui dit, quand on n'a rien à faire, on fait de l'art. Et je me suis dit, pourquoi ne pas apporter ce qui était en moi quand j'étais petit à l'atelier de mon père. Et c'est parti comme ça.
C'était une fierté pour nous de recevoir tout ce beau monde et qui nous a permis de faire le tour du Sénégal, échanger avec voilà, des artisans dans des filières comme la création dans le bois, comme dans la menuiserie métallique aussi. Et il y a aussi dans le domaine de la maroquinerie, dans la fabrication des chaussures et plein d'autres filières. Et là, c'est une fierté pour nous, pour montrer à la face du monde que le monde là, il est unique et que c'est seulement les distances qui peuvent les séparer, mais on a beaucoup de choses à se partager et c'était un cadre idéal que nous saluons vraiment la participation de tout un chacun.
I mean, I thought that was just, you know, a leg. Like, you're thinking of doing that for the leg.
Have to make
it's just
8
chairs.
chairs.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, ese proyecto es un proyecto rompedor, o sea, que rompe totalmente los esquemas hasta ahora preestablecidas. Vamos a construir, que la construcción sea la excusa del encuentro, pero que el encuentro lo que tiene que hacer es crear lazos humanos. Y la construcción es una excusa para poder pasar tiempo, para poder entrar en otros detalles, pero que el objetivo de este encuentro no es construir una escuela. El objetivo es que nos podamos conocer. Y para mí, pues, de eso se trata. De eso se trata, que los jóvenes del mundo puedan tener la posibilidad de conocerse. De conocerse. O sea, África no puede seguir siendo tan cerca de Europa y tan desconocida. O sea, para mí la gran pobreza que tiene Europa es esta, el desconocimiento de África.
This trip taught me so many things about another culture, about so many other peoples, but above all about myself. It's everything, like the artistic influences, the humanity in the people you get to know. It's just, it's something really special. I feel like what these people are doing with root, it's something really important, because it's an heritage. The artisanal heritage is something that we shouldn't never forget.
Africa brings an authenticity that is not easy to find nowadays.
And Route Atlantic is our proposal to discover it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Perfect. So, well, that was kind of a resume, as I said, from the last edition, and just because it was almost like the 5th edition, no, like the 6th one. So basically now, as you can see, like we work with a lot of different range from artisans, architects and designers and so on. And now we're like really setting our own roots in Ediongu, which is in a small village in the Casamance region, in the south, one of the regions that we think that there are more opportunities there and big things to do. So we're like now building our own space that's going to be shared with local community there, like local schools, universities, and so on. And from that summer, we're going to start the project there as kind of the headquarters that then are going to help us to connect all the different dots and profiles. And also in that direction, at the beginning was a project that was mainly in summer, and now the idea is like to really open that project and make like a regular project for us, as meaning Elisava, but for everyone involved. So in that direction, we just want to invite you all to take part on it, and that's like a project and opportunity that we think that can bring a lot of different views and connections. So we'll be like super happy to to hear your feedback, and for sure to have you on board at some point. That will be great. So yeah, just like let's talk, and thank you so much for listening to us.
A lot of questions. Any comments from the audience immediately?
Yeah, I really liked the way that there's so many similarities between these two countries in terms of, well, obviously economy plays a huge role in communities. And I know that both, well, Africa and India, we have this great disparity as far as the economic part goes. And it would be really interesting to see how this collaborative thing can take place across continents, if possible, to generate something which is, really very, very interesting in terms of a community project. So let's see if we can do that.
Sure. Let's find ways and opportunities. There's a space.
Yeah. Thank you. This is nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
I really like the way how you develop the point of view, like the African point of view. Obviously, as an European, we have the other point of view, which is natural, but bringing together designers and such an innovative, creative minds, somehow is extremely interesting. And I think it's opening up everything that is so cool. Congratulations, really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, after 6 years, we learned that when creatives meet together, there's always wonderful things happening. So we, as you said, maybe we complement, we have different visions of living and creating. So, but I think one enrich the other. So that is our experience, and we don't try to teach anything to anybody, just a question of sharing different point of view. Or maybe their creativity is more bold, less academic. When you are just thinking they have done already, but it is always nice and positive. So this is our balance after 6 years.
Yeah, and I think that's something that is like growing every year, because we're like meeting new people, new companies there. For example, we work a lot with a plastic retreatment company that's called ProPlast, like a super interesting one. Like a company run by women, that they started all the full process of retreating plastic there, and how they by doing this, understanding the material and the ways of working with it, completely changes the institutional perspective, like towards residues and so on. And all of those concepts, when, for example, we share it here with like plastic retreatment centers or companies that they work with recycled plastic and so on, that blows their mind, like the way that they work with that other approach and perspective. So we always feel that we need more time, like each year there's a lot of things like coming up, and we don't even have the time to like really develop them all. There's a lot of connections and things that we can do, but that's why we also said that if you think that you can be interested in any of these companies, we were like super happy to like share them and see like from your universities you can start also like bridging communications with them and start projects that will be great. There's a huge potential, and there's a lot of things to share there. And also for us, it's really interesting, because now like we're from Barcelona, and in Barcelona we have one of the biggest Senegalese communities in Europe. So that's something that we started to do since the beginning, which is like creating also like events here with the Senegalese community, where there are like fashion brands, like furniture brands and different like collectives. So we also like try to exchange, and at the same time that we go there and open space, we open our own spaces here in Barcelona and in Elisava for them too. So that's working, and that's something that we just want to keep it growing. So let's see.
Yeah, this would have been my question as well, because you said that each year Africans are also coming to Barcelona. Are those students, or who are coming to Barcelona, and what's the setting then?
Yeah, what we're doing now in Barcelona is that thing that as we have like a big Senegalese community in Barcelona, what we do is like we work with, like, for example, well, now there's 2 years that we cannot do it due to COVID, for sure, as rude and as everything. But in the last edition is like we do like for example, like a full week of programming at Elisava with local collectives, companies, and Senegalese people, and we discuss the same topics that we discussed there, what it can be regarding with artisans, like materials and so on. So we try to create all those open spaces, and at the same time, something that we do that it was also like born out of that project route is like we create projects inside the curriculum of the Elisava, and we have those students working with Senegalese companies, and the Senegalese companies, they also come to check, to do the review of the projects and so on. We also have like we had last year like 2 full final degree projects directions, also like working with companies there and so on. So that's more or less the kind of exchange that we are able to do right now. But we're also like exploring new ways of amplifying these connections.
I think there might be a lot of follow-up conversations. So I think our task from the working group, will it be to channel this a little bit and maybe to create these conversations? I hope to have a follow-up conversation with you as well. I think it's extremely good that you're going 6 years in a row to the same place to better understand the people and not just to exploit another culture to understand strangeness, but also to build those bridges in the same way to understand there's a big Senegalese community. I think this also makes appreciate both sides for the work of the respective other sides. Yeah, very, very impressive. Thank you for sharing that, and sorry for the short time. This is always happening, and we will reach out to you.
It's perfect. We're also going to share here in the chat the email from Ruth, so everyone that wants to keep that conversation, we're here.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for the time and the opportunity.
Thank you for giving us this extremely important insight. Okay, so then as we have so many people from Singapore here, and the next presenter from Singapore is currently in Berlin, as he mentioned, because half of your home, Milenko, is in Berlin. I learned very early in my relations to LaSalle in Singapore from Benka, who's happily here as well, about this amazing project, Tropical Lab. And it took me quite a while to understand it. And you visited my university last year, and you shared with me some more details. And I think it's really so interesting that I'm really happy that you accepted to present the work here. And I think it might be a wonderful blueprint also to learn from. But as time is limited, Milenko, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Philip. Hi, everyone. I'm Milenko Privatsky. I'm from LaSalle College of the Arts. I'm Senior Fellow in Office of the President. And I started this project 16 years ago as a Dean of Faculty of Fine Arts. I will share with you some images and short video about this project. First of all, I want to say something about LaSalle. I'm sure that Venka, Wolfgang, and Noor told you already, and you know what LaSalle is about. But just to say that we have a few schools in fine arts, in film animation, creative industries, design communication, fashion, product design, spatial and product design, contemporary music, dance, and theater. LaSalle is one of the most established art schools in Asia and in the world, and we are dealing mostly with contemporary issues, and of course never ignoring the folkloric art, artisan, all these things as a part of heritage. A bit more about Tropical Lab. Tropical Lab, it's an international art camp for master and PhD students. And it's a kind of playground, sophisticated playground for students from all around the world coming in Singapore and LaSalle to communicate, collaborate, explore and experiment out of teaching and out of traditional classroom environment. So every year we have a different theme, and each theme it's followed by different activities that I will tell you about. You can see the list of this. Okay, before they come in LaSalle for Tropical Lab, we are publishing Art Journey, which is kind of research material for them to read, and contributors to this art journal is artists, curators, scholars, historians, sociologists, whoever could contribute in different way and from different point of view, so that students have different views of what the issue about is. And then when they come in La Salle, they're half prepared. Even it's always interesting because it's different theme that this element of surprise, shock, and failure. That's something what we want. It's a list. I don't want to read. It's going to take a lot of time. Of universities, art schools from all around the world that are sending students. It's always in between 25 and 30 students in La Salle, and it takes 2 weeks, including Philip students from this year. First day after arrival, we have orientation day when we show them all our facilities and spaces that they could use in order to realize and their work. That's mean from sculpture workshop, sound room, recording room, printmaking room, design facilities, whatever they could use in order to create their work, as well gallery spaces. And then we have seminars, which is third day, usually seminar. For seminar, we invite 4 international and local artists, curators, sociologists, talking about the issue that we are having that year. And then the third day, it's a student presentation. They don't know each other at all. So this is an opportunity for them to present a very short time, like I have now, only 10 minutes, very short about their own practice so that they know who they are. And then that first evening, we have a dinner in my studio or house. And during time, we have also dinners in studios or houses of local artists so that they can communicate with them. The 4 days, it's a field trip. Field trip, it's always related to theme that we have. And it's about knowing also about Singapore, Southeast Asia, and environment that they will have to work for 2 weeks. This is one during the land project. They end up in the 100 meters deep train station where it's an amazing opportunity to be underground. And then we always have a tour around island. And then 4th day, they move in studio. It's very spacious studio, all of them in same space, and that it's time when they start to execute, realize, and think about project that they will exhibit in the end, with help of a curator from Institute of Contemporary Art who will curate show in the end of these 2 weeks. Yeah. We have different workshops also related to the theme. This is a gamelan. It's Indonesian traditional instruments. We did this workshop during ECHO project. And it's fascinating that after 1 hour of exercise and nobody saw ever this kind of instrument, they play music successfully. And then we have other artists for different projects that they work, local artists, international artists, working with students. Before exhibition, we have a certificate delivery when they all get certificate of participation, and we take common pictures. And finally, it's about the exhibition itself, always open by our president or Deputy President Venka. And I will show you some works, and I will show you absolute diversity of works, because there is no limitation in media and material. It started like fine arts, Tropical Lab, because I was Dean of Fine Arts, but last 10 years, there's no limitation, and we have also performing arts, sound, design, any kind of art expression. This is a painting made by the soil from that underground, mixed with oriental spices that they can find in Singapore. So all works are created in La Salle during these 2 weeks. Mostly they have only 9 days to do it. And in the same time, with being such a diversity of programs in La Salle, they collaborate, for example, in this video with students from dance, they collaborate with students in sculpture, and they use space in our galleries. We have 5 galleries of different sizes in the end, and this is one of the interesting projects. It's the 1 meter large tropical leaf that's covered with rubber, done by students from Germany. And they use newspapers, they use local clay, they do performances, installations, and it's kind of view from the main gallery. So it's a lot of space that they can use even outside of campus and inside of campus. So all works are done on campus in using facilities that we have at campus. It's very good with all kind of facilities, including new medias. So the last day after the opening, before they leave, they will dress up in traditional sarong, and we will provide for them day 1 when they come, and when we have a dinner in President's House, all participants, students from La Salle who are ambassadors and who help them for 2 weeks stay. I will now show you just short video of one of tropical labs called Sense. Some of them work with different companies.
Tropical Lab, I think importantly, provides a space for 24 artists to quietly read and purposefully make sense of issues that are close to their artistic practice on this island, cast away from their everyday lives.
Every tropical lab is having own theme. This year it's about sense. And it came very logically because we are all trying all the time to make sense of what we are doing and what our practice is about.
In order to come here and fully experience and fully embody senses as a theme, I think it was important to come with no preconceived ideas.
Tropical Lab gave me a lot of freedom and challenges in the sense that I decided to work in a completely different way and explore new ideas and territories.
I feel like they give us so much support and stimulation, and that allowed us to really focus on ourselves. And I was really able to just focus on my practice and accelerate it within a 2-week period.
One of the things that was great was to meet different artists and to see the type of work they're creating, and also to see how they interpret this idea of sense back in their work.
I hope that visitors can take away from my exhibition not only a sense of Singapore, but a sense of me.
Okay, I think this is, I would like to thank all of you for opportunity to talk about this. It's much more to say, but I prefer if you have some questions that you're more curious. It's international, and what is amazing that they collaborate, they work together for 2 weeks, and it's amazing experience for all of them. Thank you very much. Any question, please?
Thank you, Milenko. Any questions from the audience? maybe just as a first reaction, I think it's really encouraging to see the 3 different cases and yours as well. And I really would love to be there and to join in. I think what I said as well for the example that we have seen from Elisava, it's good to find one place in all its social and its ecological, technological, economical, historical, cultural aspects over the time. So not to move around and sneak in here and there. And I think you sort of didn't mention that you have this wonderful books that you're publishing each year, asking also writers to contribute. And I think this is a very substantial element to build upon. And it was very impressive to see that again. And I'm curious that we can send in a student this year as well.
I think Yatra has something to ask.
Yeah. I just want to ask Milenko. So, is this happening with just Singapore, or have there been other sort of collaborations with students from other countries or artists from other countries over the years?
It's happening in LaSalle, on LaSalle campus. Usually they stay in hotel with swimming pool just next to the LaSalle campus. So it's a 3 minutes walking distance. They stay for 2 weeks over there. We provide all accommodation, food, art material, curatorial expertise, galleries. So when they reach Singapore and LaSalle, they will stay there for 2 weeks. It's very intense. It's very condensed. It's a bit hectic, but the condition for all master and PhD students is that they have good communication skills and no ego problem, because it's very intense. And to put 24, 26, 70, 30 students in one place, we didn't have in last 15 years any problem, but everything happened there. So it's very, very intensive, and it's not teaching, it's out of classroom project. So it's totally different experience.
You must be having somebody involved in this from the faculty members side also, right? Some few members from the faculty.
I'm having I'm Tropical King, and my princess Sureni is helping me. And of course, I have support of all management, president's office, Wenka, who is my line manager, and we have students ambassadors from other programs who in between 5 and 6, and they stay and help the students, international students, in providing materials, looking at things, of course, finishing in bars at night, but that's kind of a way to learn more about Southeast Asia and Singapore.
Okay, thank you, Milenko. We would love to know how maybe we could also be part of a similar collaboration.
That will happen in between 22nd of July and start 22nd of July, takes 2 weeks, and you are all welcome there.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sounds really amazing. Very, very good. And I think what's interesting is, as you said, Milenko, basically you leave it up to them. I think you're providing them with access to sort of uncovering a lot of details and look at Singapore from a very sort of different perspective, very specific, and to see what emerged must be amazing. And I just can encourage you to look at the website and to go a bit deeper into those projects. Yes, I mean, we are already, I mean, I hate to say it, 5 minutes behind schedule. I already put it in the chat. I think, once again, thank you, all of you who've been presenting today. And so still, I think 2 people left up to now. But it's really an invitation. If you have a similar case to share, I think this is the forum to do so. And I put it in the chat. I think what our ambitions would be for the near future is to, I mean, if it's an atlas, it needs to be somehow visual. So what we're going to create is to map those right now. And for example, if you see here right now, that's how we're going to do that. This is the example, then you should be able to sort of click there. And for each thing that we have seen today, we want to create a little sort of profile or description, and also maybe add the material that you shared with us today. So then it's accessible for other ones as well. And the intention is, yeah, it takes a moment. The intention would be, of course, to see what we can learn from each other. With some projects you can connect, some projects you can try to set up in a similar way and exchange the experiences that you had. And I think there's a lot of learning in there, and especially, as I said in the beginning, how those projects can inform changes in curricula and changes in rethinking what a design school and university can be as bottom-up initiatives with all the top-down initiatives that we're seeing. So this is where we want to go. And in the next Cumulus conference, where we will meet in person, we will have another special event where we sort of can discuss those things a little bit more in depth. But we plan to proceed with the series maybe every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how much volunteers we find that are willing to share. Maybe next time we will just have 2 presentations, because then we have a bit more time to discuss actually, but we first also need to get used to this format. Yeah, so far from my side. Teresa, from your side?
Yeah, it's. I think it was three completely different presentations, but that have the same common background. And if we want to build this atlas of opportunities, and there are so many people that can share maybe some quite similar experiences, we can build a platform where we can in fact exchange and learn with each other. So I think this is the beginning of something that will go much bigger and faster than we thought in the beginning, Philip. So I think having time the next time to have a discussion, a more in-depth discussion, it will be great. So we hope that there are some volunteers for the next session, but maybe 2 people will be fantastic, so we don't have to be in a rush, because the cases, the presentations are so rich that it's a pity that we don't have time to discuss a little bit more.
We encourage for one-on-one follow-up discussions, of course, and willing to share any contact details. So please, as I mentioned in the chat, drop a line to us or put it in the chat. If you didn't get an invitation by email to this event, so then you will be invited. And of course, it will be published on the Cumulus website and social media. So stay connected. Thank you very much to all the 4 people presenting today. And thank you very much again, Lolita, Teresa, Albert, and Nur, for sort of making it possible and planning it and proceeding with that. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Time to say goodbye.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much.
And meet again soon with new cases for our atlas. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Teresa. Albert, bye.